let's have a conversation.
Hey, what's going on, people? Happy Friday. As you've started to know, I say this every Friday. I hope that you had a good week. I hope you had a great week, as a matter of fact. And if you had a great week, awesome. If you had a terrible week, the worst week of your life, the week is over. You made it through the week, so you have a chance to recuperate over the weekend and make things better next week. If you have not done so yet, please make sure to like the channel, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more fire content. And shout out to the replay crew who is not going to see this right away. So, this is just going to be a really quick breakdown of the interview that Moriah had on the official challenge podcast. This week, the podcast had Devon and Devin breaking down like the most recent episode and also interviewing Moriah. So they started by asking Moriah how Fessy became her ride or die. And I know that something that people have been talking about is that this season has a lot of manufactured ride or dies. And to be honest, I feel like this is a manufactured ride or die. Especially once I heard Moriah's explanation of how they became ride or dies. So she was kind of tiptoeing around eggshells with her answers, but they asked her basically how she met Fessy and how he ended up inviting her to come to the season. So the way how Moriah met Fessy is that Fessy slid in the DMs. Sounds like a real Fessy thing to do. She was trying to protect him, honestly, I feel. Because she was very vague with everything she said. But I assume that he probably saw her pictures. He thought that she was good looking. He thought that she was a potential woman to be on his hit list. And then he slid in the DMs. And then she said that they ended up meeting up. I think she said they ended up meeting up at a bar. And she said that they went to the bar and Fessy was very quiet. Wasn't talking to her for the majority of the night. And she was planning to leave with her friends. And he was like, yo, why are you leaving? And she was like, you're not really saying anything to me. He's like, no, you should stay. So anyways, pretty long story short, it seems like he tried to holler at her in the DMs. She was responsive and receptive to him hollering at her in the DMs. She said that they ended up going on some dates, but they ultimately mutually decided that they were not going to be an item or a couple. She didn't go into details as of why. She just said it didn't work out, but they agreed to be friends. I think Devon specifically pressed her a little bit and asked her like, hey, was he a cuddle buddy? Did you all cuddle? And she was like, sometimes, depending on the situation. She wasn't going to elaborate on what everything entailed. And because she wasn't going to elaborate, neither am I. I'm just going to say they were two single people. They were attracted to each other. They spent alone time together in bed. If it was just cuddling, okay, but I would not be shocked if it ever came out later that it was more than just cuddling. But either way, they decided that they would not work in any kind of a relationship scenario and let it be that. So they were just friends going into the challenge ride or dies. She said that prior to that season, she had known him for about a year. So she said that he reached out to her once he knew what the concept of the season was and that he was going to be on it. And he said, I might need a female partner and I want you to come on the show with me. she was down to come on the show with him. And she was just like, I trust him. He's my friend. You know, he wouldn't lead me astray. So she went on the show on the strength of him. And she was saying it's not like a Nerys situation. And what I mean by that is Nerys actually said, I was wanting to go on the challenge for years, and I finally got my opportunity to go on the challenge. So it wasn't like she was just going on the challenge on the strength of Nelson. In Moriah's case, she was just going on the challenge on the strength of Fessy. So at the beginning, when they were partners, it sounded like they worked well together. It seemed like they did well together, and it seemed like Fessy was doing a good job of being a good partner, and he wasn't doing her in similar ways as to what he did with Anissa, other partners. She said the production actually made her watch some certain previous seasons, and she saw some Fessy behavior that she didn't rock with. But she said to a point, he never exhibited that behavior with her. So she was willing to kind of start on a clean slate with him. Like, this is the way Fessy has always been with me as a friend. So I don't think that he's going to stray from that. And so far, he has not. She said that as soon as they split, Fessy was saying a lot of things to a lot of different people in the house. She said that there was a point in time when she was sick, and he was like, it's not my partner and it's not my problem. She was saying that at a lot of points, he was not talking gameplay to her, or he was not talking to her at all, and he was talking to the other women in the house, especially after they split. She said that during the deliberation, which we kind of saw when she was up to be going into the elimination, he was like, I have better relationships with everybody in the house aside from Moriah. And he was also saying, hey, Casey is my true ride or die. So she said that he was manipulating her in a sense that she actually felt bad for feeling that Fessy did not have her back on the show. But she's like, now in retrospect, watching the episodes and hearing the behind the scenes things that people were telling me that he was saying about me, I'm now 100% firm in what I thought about him. Like, he is the messy Fessy and the type of guy that everybody had said that he was previously. So in terms of where they are currently, Moriah does not rock with Fessy. She doesn't hate him. She didn't say that she hates him or anything, but it also doesn't sound like they have an actively good relationship with each other. And if they both come back to the show, which seems to be inevitable, I think that they're not going to be on the same team. And what I mean by that is not like the team that the show selects for them. I just mean the two of them are not going to be on the same page. And she's going to kind of know Fessy does not have my back. So I'm not really rocking with him like that. The one other thing that she said that was interesting was to say that Bananas is not her type. She said that typically he's too old for her. Like, his personality is not quite her type and her style. But he's one of the best guys that she has ever been with. She didn't declare that he was her boyfriend or anything, but she was like, I'm a private person. But she kind of alluded to the fact that she said, we're still hanging out. I think we can pretty much read between the lines here. I'm not going to say anything more than that, aside from we can read between the lines. And she said that she felt like on the show, Bananas was more of her partner than Fessy. So that's pretty much the tea of the situation. She said that their relationship started on basically Fessy trying to get at her, and he possibly did. And as is the case with what a lot of women are saying, we tried, it didn't work. We tried to be friends, and then we got on the show. He didn't show himself to be a true friend on the show. And looking back at the show, she said she wished she had made different choices and she wished that she hadn't trusted him as much. Because she said that when she first said, this person, and this person is saying that you said this about me, he was like, no, girl. They're just trying to gaslight you. They're just trying to manipulate you and make you feel this, and they're getting in your head. Don't let them get into your head. But now, after actually looking at everything, remembering what people said to her and watching the episodes air, she was like, I know the true Fessy is the Fessy that everyone else experienced, and I would not really trust him again on another show. I'm excited at the fact that Moriah said she loves the challenge now and she wants to be back. And Fessy is inevitably going to be back no matter what you guys think. Fessy is inevitably going to continue to come back to the challenge unless he reaches a point that he does not want to be back to the challenge because they like the drama surrounding the guy. Point blank, period. Oh, one other thing is that Moriah said that she tried to discreetly warn Fessy. She said she was not necessarily a part of the decision to throw Fessy in, but that her team decided on throwing Fessy in without consenting with her. But she said that Devin was the one who put in her head that in the event that the votes get tied up, which was a possibility, that somebody from their team was going to go in. And she said that her logic, which makes perfect sense to me, she said that her logic was basically that I don't want it to be tied up because of what happened with Zach and Amanda, where they're like, oh, you guys can't decide. One of your guys is going to go in. She said there was a very limited amount of guys. They needed all of them. So she was not going to tie up the votes. So the burn vote was strategic. And she also was like, I knew without a shadow of a doubt, especially seeing it was a physical elim, that nobody was messing with Fessy. Fessy was going to come back. So it was an executive decision. And I rock with it. Like I said in the last recap, I rock with Moriah, Horacio, Johnny, Raven, and Nerese. I want all 5 of them to come back. This is the first time I've had a group of rookies that I like this much. I think they're good at the show. I think they bring the right amount of drama. I think they'll learn about the strategy portions. And the thing about them is, even though they're rookies, and even though, well, I guess Johnny and Nerese are in a relationship now, and I guess they've kind of formed relationships, but it's not like a huge alliance that we're like, oh, this huge alliance is just going to gang up on the rest of the house. It's individualistic enough that we're going to get some interesting things happening from here. So I understand Moriah's stance on Fessy. It's everyone's stance on Fessy at this point. And I'm interested to see how the rest of the season plays out on if Moriah has another chance. I know that right now, Moriah and Kenny still have a chance to be in the game. Spoiler alert, if anyone does not like to know things that happen behind the scenes, turn off this video right now. because this is somewhat of a spoiler. It's not a season spoiler, but it's just a spoiler on things that have been said in podcasts. And apparently, Kenny, Casey's brother, said that there was not an actual redemption house. It was just that they stayed in a hotel until they knew what was going to be happening. So, no redemption house. I'm not really sure what they do, how they potentially could get back in the game. I know previous seasons they had tournaments, but there's not really a lot of them. So I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do with that. But I'm interested to know, and I'm interested in the rest of the season to see how the Tori Jordan drama plays out, to see if any of those people that were knocked out, which is just two of them right now, have a chance to get in. I particularly want Moriah to get a chance to get in. I mean, Kenny, nice guy, but didn't do anything for me in terms of entertainment value on the show. But Moriah, I think both of them will get a chance, honestly, because Casey is like, I say this all the time, Casey's kind of like female Darrell. She's the biggest female threat of whoever is left on the show right now, but she's never targeted because she's part of a big alliance and she's always neutral. She never gets into anything. Fessy, it's just the fact that he's so big and he always gets physical eliminations. So I'm like, good chance of him still being there. So good chance of Moriah still being there. But the end of this recap is basically to say that Moriah is given the same reviews as all the other women who have worked with him. And that leads me to believe that everybody who has said all the things that they have said about him are correct in terms of who he is as a challenge partner. He thinks about himself. He's got a big ego. You know, he wants a woman. The reason why he's always like, Casey is my ride or die, I don't even think it's because of their friendship. It's because he's like, I want to latch myself on to the strongest woman. And I think that that was a big part of the reason why he was flirting with Laurel so heavy early in the season when she was there. I don't even necessarily think that he had big feelings for Laurel or anything like that, but he just saw her. It's like, I know your history and I know you're a very strong woman, so I want to keep you in my back pocket. Even though Casey is first right now, I'm going to do whatever is most beneficial to me. And let's just say, y'all, I can't wait to see this reunion and what happens in this reunion. When it happens, this London reunion that they had. Anyways, y'all, I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will talk to y'all soon. Be great.